Welcome back to the Dating Relationship Playbook with Chaz, a podcast where we discuss having, maintaining, and improving healthy relationships, not just with our significant other, but with family, friends, and God. Um, so one of the trending topics or trending things that happened is this woman on the Usher Chris Brown tour. This woman, they invite this woman up, and Usher, um, he like he goes into like kiss or whatever. She like leans back. She didn't want to be, kissed or whatever. And so he gets up and basically just was like, get her out of, hey, she don't want to, it look like she want to be on stage. And then he kind of gives it this motion or whatever to like kick her off or to have her to go. And so she gets, obviously she's a young woman and she goes on social media and like, hey, his team gave us moved us to VIP, asked me to get on stage. I'm not going to turn that down. Who's going to turn out going on stage? And then even of us having this moment right now, is countless videos, people interpret, people doing their thing, analyzing it and saying certain things. And I really can't blame her. Like, hey, she wanted to be seen. She was seen. She didn't want to be kissed or you didn't want them to get close like that. Uh, I can't really, you can't really be on her. I don't think, but anyway, so she puts uh that she took a picture with Usher's wife or whatever. And I was thinking, I'm like, I didn't even know Usher was married. I didn't even know he was even, I didn't even know that. I guess when you obviously being in that position like that, being in the entertainment business the way he is, like he's like a sex symbol. So you really aren't going to be publicizing that because that's part of your brand. That's part of you. Um, that's part of your brand. You sell that, and so the question was that I was kind of it was in my head was like, well, I wonder, if my women listeners, women viewers, how would they feel? Is money that would you be fine with that as long as he's coming home with you? Will a woman be fine with okay, he making this money, but he on tour all these days. Are you cool with him doing that regularly? And you're there, like I'm. That obviously they she understands that it's a business that is kind of is a performance. Um, but yeah, I don't know how women think with that. So I'm curious to know in the comments if you share like, hey, would you be fine with your guy doing that long as he bringing in the money and long as he's um with you and it's just an act? Are you cool with that? I know like certain obviously actors do that. Um yeah, they do that. Another thing that, when it comes to these concerts and things like that, like I looked up like the woman with the 20,000 with Chris Brown and also a woman, a man filing a divorce after a woman did that with Usher, and those weren't really verified. So I don't really want to speak on that, but I do. There has been the thing of um what and on other podcasts like what guys what does that look like in relationship when I'm talking about healthy relationship, what does that look like as far as hey, you at a concert or you doing the picture with Chris Brown. Me, if I being in a relationship, like I would want you not to go on stage. Like I think now that you might have to have a conversation as far as like, hey, if you see somebody, you cannot fan out. Like that's like I guess certain you can fan out, but you can't. It's certain stuff that like the pictures that I seen. Um, I don't like, hey, he can have his hand around you and stuff like that, but the stuff that they doing where he's like in between their legs and they got him bending them over, and I'm really not on like the ushers and the Usher or Chris Brown, because like that's your job. That's your that's not on you to because they get to um the women or whoever is taking the meet and greet pictures, they choose the how they want Chris Brown to do and how he is supposed to position himself. So I'm not really on them because that's their job. They not supposed to be maintaining when you talk about maintaining a healthy relationship, they're not maintaining your relationship. You got to do that. They're just there to make money and to entertain. So I'm not on them and saying, "Hey, they got to stop doing this." That's their job. That I'm not on them about that. But I am saying, "Hey, these if I'm in a relationship, you cannot be having him bend you over. You can like at this point it's like you should know your person. But if you find out that they are like that or they can't control themselves, then I don't know. Like that would be an issue for me. I wouldn't break up with anybody, but we gotta like, cause one, that's kind of disrespectful. One is disrespectful that cause that's a man. At the end of the day, I'm a man. That's a man. Like I'm not looking. We don't. Once you get a certain age, you're not looking at a guy like you're not looking at guys like that. As far as when I was a kid, you look at celebrities and things like that, and you look up to them. But as when you become a man, you don't look up to God. You don't look up to celebrities like that. I look at, hey, you a man just like I'm a man. Obviously, you famous, everybody knows you, but when it comes to my woman, like no, you cannot do that. I'm not looking at you like that. So I would want to have that conversation, or what pick a woman that like, hey, once you get in this position, uh, how are you gonna conduct yourself? But that's just because that's disrespectful the way if you in a relationship and you haven't got taking picture with Chris Brown. One is $1,000 plus, and two, some of the positions I mean, they be kissing, it's very graphic and something, if you single, hey, you do your thing. But if you're in a relationship, hey, I guess that's a thing for you and your guy. But yeah, so that's the thing. And then I also think about like, even if I was like a millionaire, I would rather spend that money on like a vacation or a trip or something that's gonna last, not just a picture. Cause when the picture's done, and after you pay that money, I'm still thinking like, hey, that's $1,000. You could buy jewelry, you could buy, put some towards a trip or something like that. But anyway, I just think about um the respect level. Like to me, you should have respect. Just like I wouldn't want she would, because at one point, I remember back in the day, this is a while ago, where Nicki Minaj would bring people on and do lap dances and stuff like that. I remember because I was a basketball guy, so Steve Nash got up there. She got Steve Nash and did that. Like I wouldn't want, just like you she probably would a woman wouldn't I'm day wouldn't want me doing that with Nicki Minaj or any celebrity. I wouldn't want. her to fan out and do something this disrespectful. Not just like I said, it's a man thing, but also like, especially if you got all these, especially if it is a moment that goes viral. You know what I'm saying? Like then you got, you on the online and YouTube and social media, and then it's like, you know, that's not a good look either as a guy. So um yeah, I just that you know we talk about it's not confirmed with those other the 20,000 and the divorce thing, but it's definitely like it's some memes and different videos being where guys shaking and nervous because hurt they girl going to a Chris Brown concert because you don't know how they're gonna act, but um yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Like one, like I said, I forgot that Usher was married. You know, because he's always, he's just like a sex symbol, so he can't really. I guess I know that they probably don't want him to share too much of his personal life. When it comes to relationships or his marriage. But yeah, question is, women like, how much would you be okay with that? Your husband being on, having a job or doing something where he's with women like that, and you're fine just because hey, this he's making the money, he's not really with them, he's with me. I'm curious to know your thoughts with that. Again, this is the dating relationship playbook with Chaz podcast. We discuss having, maintaining, and improving healthy relationships.